Hi, everybody. It is Renee and Dee today, and we're in the Healthy for the Holidays group, and we've passed into November. We're now on November the 8th. Shocking, isn't it? And Dee is up in Alberta in Medicine Hat. You could see earlier that she is pretty much snowed in. I'm down here in Palm Desert, and we are crying like big babies because it's going to be about 70 today. So yeah, it went from like 96 to 70. It rained yesterday. It was, earth shattering here. So anyway, so Dee and I thought we would address on the group. We had a challenge that said, "What are your holiday challenges?" And so we thought we would go through the ones that were listed on there. And so as we put the challenges up, be sure that you write your challenges in, and then we will address them once a week on a live where we will talk about the different challenges. So this week, I will be posting a challenge tomorrow morning. All right. So Dee, one of the things that Janine said was, treats really get in her way, and getting on that sugar train. What is your advice for not getting on the sugar train that takes you just down the road?
Well, you know what, this one, I think there's lots of ways that you can angle this. It just depends on your personality. Do you have really excellent self-control? Can you have just one and walk away? If you can, that's awesome. If you can't, just don't do it. Willpower is completely a mind muscle. It is a choice. And I know it sounds mean, but we really always have language focused around regret of things that we stuck in our mouth, except that we all chose what we stuck in our mouth. It wasn't an accident. So we have to figure out why we keep doing these things. So why are we craving that sugar? Why are we craving that treat? Is there a different trigger, to why all of a sudden you want to put that treat or candy or Christmas chocolate or Christmas cookie in your mouth? And you know what, if you really do want to, enjoy something over the holidays, plan for it. Plan what you're going to have. Be purposeful in what you want to enjoy, instead of like, oh, dang, my friend Katie, invited me for drinks and appies on Friday. And then dang, Susie did it on Saturday. And then Sunday I was really feeling like garbage, but then Maddie called me and said, hey, and so on and so forth. And for many, that season has already started. So as our American friends head for Thanksgiving, you really have like 6 weeks of perpetual partying, celebration, eating. Like it's
craziness. It's like,
yeah.
It's like it never stops. Once it hits Halloween, it is just like a flipping disaster, unless you do, you have that balance. And that's what I posted at the top of the group this last week was, let's go into Thanksgiving with 3 weeks of focus, a week of balance during Thanksgiving, 3.5 weeks of focus, 10 days of balance as we close out the year. So that's going to be the focus really of this group. All right. I love that, Dee, because, I definitely have a sweet treat, issue. And so I'm not the person that can just have one. And so I really do. And it's funny, I was on another group talking about mindfulness and not restricting and not having all these restrictive behaviors and attitudes. But we also have to know ourselves. And if we have something that really comes up strong for us, what do? Do we let it go out of control? Do we beat ourselves up because we can't seem to get over that thing? What's your suggestion there? Like if I have cookies in the house, I'm going to eat them all. So what is your suggestion for me?
I would tell you not to bring them into your house.
Exactly.
And when guests bring them to your house, if you put them out while the guests are there, that's fine. And then when the guests are not there, you can, pass them on to maybe somebody who, maybe there are families in need in your community that could use some Christmas joy. If they're really close friends, though, you know what? We do really have to learn how to empower ourselves with saying, I would really appreciate it, if you wouldn't bring that to my house. It's an issue for me. It brings up all kinds of unhappy emotions. I just want your company, your camaraderie. I want to visit, it is really hard to do, but you know what? If they are in your circle, they're going to get it. They're going to get it.
I totally agree with you. And one of the things that I got really in the habit of doing is as people are leaving after a holiday meal, I've got it all packaged up. Here you go. Here's yours. Here's yours. Here's yours. And it leaves my,
Yep.
I don't leave it here. So that is one thing that I do. I send it all home with everybody, even after like Thanksgiving dinner, and people are like, well, don't you want to have some gravy for tomorrow? Don't you want to have some mashed potatoes? Look, I don't even eat mashed potatoes. I might have a few bites on Thanksgiving, but if I have mashed potatoes in the house, it's not going to be a good thing. So rid of those things. Okay, so let's move on to fitness routine. So, one of the things that someone mentioned was, really my challenge is keeping up my fitness routine during the holidays. And so I know, Dee, that you've been really working on getting back into a fitness routine. Tell us about kind of some of the things that come up for you during the holidays and how that is a challenge.
I have to really not tell myself, but say it is part of today's plan, because I always have so many things going at one time that it's really, really easy to make excuses to not get it done. And I have to get it done early, or I'm not going to get it done, like early in my day. And what's really also important to that is exercising late in the day or in the evening does not work for my sleep cycle at all. So it's great to say, well, I'm going to get, it's okay, I'm going to get it in from 9 to 10, but then it's going to mess up something else, in my world. So I really have to get it in the morning. And, some of you might have seen my super cheeky kid. But our oldest son he's actually really on me to move my body, like, and because he says, Mom, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. You can't be healthy unless you're exercising, right? So it doesn't matter how much good food I cook, I gotta move. So I've kind of got the peanut gallery pushing me along here as well, but it's good. It's really good. He
Oh,
actually poked me in the back fat the other day and said, Michelin Mom, did you do your workout yet? I know he was laughing the whole way, and he's like, if that didn't motivate you, something's wrong. That's what he said to me.
wow.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, I will tell you that exercise was never something that was a part of my life. And in high school, I remember every time, a team was picked, everybody lined up, and I'll take this person, I'll take that person. I was always the last person. And I was told when I was younger that I was uncoordinated. Now, later in life, I've realized I'm absolutely not uncoordinated, but guess what? That went into my mind as a young woman, and I was uncoordinated. I didn't try, I didn't want to try. And so it really wasn't until my mid 30s, and that was, on my weight loss journey, on my journey to health, that I, had this boyfriend, and he was like, "Look, I'm a runner," and he already knew that I had lost a pretty good amount of my 200 pounds. So, or not, I was down to like, I gained until like between 22 and 25, I gained like 65 pounds. while I was 25, I lost 35 pounds of it. So I still had 30 to go. So it wasn't like I didn't look horrible or anything, but I was a big girl. And so he knew, I think I had lost about 10 more pounds. So I was probably around, I don't know, 160 or 155, right in there. I'm 5'7". He said to me, look, I'm a runner and I love to exercise every single day. I have to do it. It's like it feeds me, it energizes me. I'm looking at him like, you're crazy. But what ended up happening is he started, I would walk really fast or lightly jog for a little while. Remember, I was still carrying around 25 extra pounds. That's not easy. And so he would run farther up, then run back, and he was just really encouraging. And then for Christmas, he bought me a bicycle. We started bike riding. And then I just made it a part of my life. Then I started enjoying it, but I always had something in the back of my mind that said, oh, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. And if you, the entire time you are exercising, if you're telling yourself you hate it, this is never going to be incorporated into your life. If you're listening to old stuff, old things people have told you, just forget that stuff. Go find something you really, really love to do. And I have to tell you, this week, I started playing pickleball. And my girlfriend Bev had, I think a couple weeks ago, she took me out for like one little afternoon of like 40 minutes. It was super hot, so we didn't play long. But I told Pete, I said, look, we're going to go out and we're going to try this pickleball thing. So we went and got ourselves a couple paddles, got some wiffle balls. It is so fun, and you get a workout. It's like a short tennis court. You get a really good workout. So I've been doing that. Find things you love, but here's the deal. You still got to do that weight bearing exercise. You still got to do those lunges, those squats, those push-ups. What Megan is having you do, that is easy, simple stuff you can do at home, and you got to do it, because that's what is increasing our metabolism over time. We've got to build that muscle, especially ladies. We got to do it. Okay, so the next one, Stefan said pre-eating his challenge. So he's trying to do no wheat during the first part of November, which is really great. A lot of us are sensitive to wheat, and a lot of times we're eating genetically modified wheat. So bad for your system. And so what is your thought process in that? And that's kind of segueing into what this group is doing right now, is that focus segment of 3 weeks before Thanksgiving.
So is he referring to like pre-eating a meal before going somewhere?
No, he's talking about like these 3 weeks of pre-eating really well before Thanksgiving.
Oh. Okay. So here's the thing about eating really well. I'm a firm believer that you actually need to try really, really hard to eat really, really well every single day. Because if you're not, that is also when things sneak in, or when you cave, or when you're not prepared. You will eat less unhealthy choices if you fuel the tank with healthy choices appropriately every day. But it is, I mean, I'm not going to mince words. I've been doing, making recipes and meal plans and cooking for a long time. You have to have a plan or an idea of what your plan is. And you also have to be able to be a little bit flexible. So, you know what, if you're, say your day didn't go, the way you want it to, and you end up home and you're a starving Marvin and there's no food made, and you're like, oh, I'm just going to eat that. Oh, I have that power bar in the cupboard that, it's got 30 carbs and it's really not that good for me. Or, you could throw some eggs in a skillet really, really quick and make a really quick omelet. And it might not be what you want, but it's 10 times healthier than the quick choice. So we kind of have to learn how to feed the healthy voice instead of the quick choice all the time. So maybe that's not really what you wanted for your healthy supper, but in the end, it was 10 times better than what you could have done. right?
One other thought in that direction is that, I know we all have cupboards filled with protein bars, and we really shouldn't.
Yep.
But those protein bars end up causing you sugar cravings. So that's really what, to me, some people go, well, it's protein. Yeah, but
Mm.
here's the problem. Eggs are not going to make you crave sugar, and a protein bar is.
Yeah.
So, I love the, yeah. So just exactly make 80 to 90% good food choices. So I like the 80-20 rule. 80%, we just do the right thing. And be okay with the choices that you make in the 20%. Don't be
Yeah.
beating yourself up all the time because you ate this or you ate that. Have that sense of balance, and have that sense of mindfulness. There's no words like clean, dirty, cheat. We have these weird words we use in regards to food, and it's just, if you eat real food, you are going to be satiated. You're going to feel good. Your energy is going to be good, and it's going to be good. All right. So, last but not last, right before the last one here is called mood. So someone expressed that she really has a challenge during the holiday with her mood, and particularly this year, we're not able to have all the family members that maybe we had last year. So talk for a minute on that, Dee.
Mood is tough during any holidays, especially Christmas time. And of course, for each individual, it's going to be really unique in what kind of emotions and mood come come up to the forefront. I know where I live, so simply it gets really dark really early now. And that can be really tough when you don't get that natural vitamin D and you have to start, supplementing. Of course, we all know the dirty C word has affected so many people's lives and the inability to travel, cross borders, those kind of things. So, on that note, I really urge everybody to get super creative with creating a new celebration this year, if that's what it takes. Adapt to your changing time. You know what? Maybe instead of family, maybe you have a new bestie, or you know what? Maybe you go volunteer during the holidays to fill your cup. So instead of being able to be around the ones that you love to fill your cup, maybe you go help others to fill your cup. So maybe just a different trajectory. You know what? Maybe some of you need to stay away from family and certain people to fill your cup, and that's okay too. So we spend a lot of time and energy pleasing other people a lot, and we don't even realize that we're doing it. And we tend to spend a lot of energy on those that really aren't interested in being good reciprocators of just good companionship. And so those flags, if you get that flag, you need to listen to it. So on the mood thing too, if we're eating crappy, it affects our mood. If we're sleeping crappy, it affects our mood. If we can't poop for 3 days, it affects our mood. And then things start affecting our skin and our body and our joints, and then hence coming into the holidays too, when you talk about trying to be really clean, once you really go down the road of doing things that don't make us feel good, it snowballs and you get stuck there again. And usually most of us get pretty low before we find the will to dig back out the other way. So I think on the mood thing, we almost need to subcategory things that we can do to address it, really. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that.
It's
And
a
one of the things that to really know is it's a real thing. Our gut health affects our brain. It affects our dopamine response. It
yeah.
affects anxiety. And that was something I didn't know until I did a live with Dr. Vicky, and she was talking about digestive dysfunction and how people that have IBS, Crohn's, or maybe severe constipation, diarrhea, whatever it is, if you have those responses, it's very common to have severe anxiety. It is literally starting in your gut.
Yeah.
And during the holidays, while we are really focusing on trying to have that balance and trying to have a better holiday season this year, really make those choices, and it really does start with nutrition. It's so amazing. We think that our mood is related to our environment, and a little bit of it is, particularly if we're not getting our vitamin D. Make sure you're using a liquid vitamin D and you're getting at least 5,000, maybe even 10,000 units, depending on where you live, of vitamin D. It's huge for not only mood, but exhaustion levels. You'll find yourself deep in chronic fatigue if your vitamin D levels tank. Go get your vitamin D tested. And, you'd need to be right up around the 80 mark, 80 to 100. If you're lower than 80, you need some help, and talk to a naturopathic doctor about that. So I love that on mood. And one thing before we go, one of the things that Dee and I always talk about during the holidays is being prepared for those people that are somewhat toxic in your life, and holding true to your own integrity. When you go to an event where you know someone is going to be there that likes to poke you, whether it's about your health, or, oh, come on, have one more, or you can have sweets today, it's not a big deal. Dee, let's just talk for just a minute about that, especially as you're trying to stay healthy.
So my favorite is, why are other people so worried about what somebody else is sticking in their mouth, or they're not? And I can guarantee you that, so if you're carrying a little extra weight and you're choosing not to eat sweets, and somebody questions you about it, and then you do eat it, well, then they go, well, and that's why you're chubby. It's just that it's that really vicious game. And maybe that doesn't hold true for all. Like, you know what, like my mom, bless her soul, she is a homemaker. She loves to cook and bake and please people and make their favorites. And it makes her feel good when she sees the joy, that people, but if that's an area where you struggle with, it's okay to, take, my mom doesn't push food on me at all, ever. She never says, why aren't you eating it? Why don't you taste it? Don't you love what I made for you? She doesn't do that, because she realizes what that language creates and what it's doing. And so I know it's tough, and it's really tough to talk about. We can go to all the, no, thank you, I am full right now, I will have some later. That we have a lot of language that we can help you with there. I'll help myself when I need it. Oh, you know what, I ate before I came, maybe I will take some home for later, just like you package up food and get it out of your house. There are coping skills, and for those that are just downright pushy, one, either walk away, just walk away, say no thank you, and like walk away from wherever you're standing and go have a conversation with somebody else, or divert yourself. Or maybe there is another reason why you're not eating it. And I think that's the bigger part, because we've talked about this before too. So if a loved one of yours was just diagnosed with either type 1 or type 2 diabetes, you're not going to be telling them what they should be putting in their mouth or what they shouldn't be. If your loved one, had really high blood pressure, you're not going to encourage them to eat terrible. If somebody you love was, has autoimmune diseases, or was recovering from cancer, or just had a heart attack, you're not going to push crappy food on them. So what's really interesting, when widely recognized autoimmune or disease are talked about, people automatically back off, but they don't back off when it comes to any healthy food or obesity related food issues. And you don't have to have a weight issue to have food issues. Yep. That's the really big misconception there too. You know what? Maybe you're an undereater. Maybe you're undernourished. You know what? Maybe you're just never hungry. And if you eat those 2 cookies, you just don't have room for healthy food. That's an eating issue, you know. So, yeah, I think, you know what, we need to just create awareness about what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I totally agree with you. And remember that sometimes the closest people to us are the ones that really, really do. And particularly if we're transforming ourselves, I know a lot of people in here have started exercising and
yeah,
eating better and changing their lives and taking better nutrition and supplements and, reducing their inflammation and really working on their sleep and all kinds of things. And then, you have that person that is, kind of really not caring about that. So, that's where you have to do self-preservation, and you have to really take a look at what's most important to you, and
yeah,
remember that Thanksgiving is one day, Christmas is one day, a family party is one evening. And really, Dee and I talk a lot. Visit us on the low carb cooking show. I'll put a link in there, but Dee and I talk a lot on our low carb cooking show about really taking care of yourself, and that's not only our food, it's our emotions, it's the way that we can't stop saying yes to people, that when we're overtaxing ourselves and exhausting ourselves. So yeah. Okay, we have one last thing, and that really is tied into what we just talked about, and that is the challenge of passing up food that is gifted to us. And there's a lot of people that feel that food, they want to feed you, they want to make you, they want to make cookies, all the recipes that their grandma made, and they want to pass them out to everybody. And what do you do?
so I used to be that person. I used to spend days and days making fabulous cookie trays for my neighbors. And that was, the gift that I wanted to give. Do you know why I did that? It's because my mom used to do that, because people would come to her house wanting Bubba's poppy seed rolls that they knew that my mom was going to make, that their family didn't take the time to make. So a lot of the habits that, and it's not a bad thing, so I'm not picking on my mom here. A lot of things that we do, we learned that it was given to us as, it's tradition, or it's a part of what we do during the season. So last year I changed my gift giving. So I had my low carb cookbook, and so I did a basket of a few of my favorite things. And so it was in that basket, of course, I put my cookbook, and I put chayote squashes and, other things relevant to things that I was making, and gave that to the neighbors instead. They were all tickled. They're like, what a great idea,
Ooh,
Um,
I love
yeah,
that. So if you like to give the gift of food, give healthy food this
yeah,
year. And what do you say when someone gives you that big plate of cookies? You say, thank you, I really
yeah,
appreciate it. And then you're going to redistribute or regift.
yeah,
Because, I can't personally eat those things. I will make myself sick.
yeah,
And I already know that about how my body operates. And so not making yourself sick and not offending the person that gave it to you, just say thank you. I really
yeah.
love it. My family's
And
really love it.
and if you're having a big get together, and I say big, and I'm not criticizing everybody, my immediate family, my mom and dad, brothers and sisters, and just nieces and nephews, we're 25. There's 25 of us, and nobody's kids have are married and bringing others home yet, right? So we're big. And so at Thanksgiving, 23 out of the 25 of us managed to be together for a meal. And I brought healthy salads. That was my contribution to the meal, and it was appreciated. The young kids who piled high, that stuffing and mashed potatoes, they don't care. But I can tell you that a couple of my sister-in-laws really appreciated the healthy salads. They were like, this was awesome. That is good. Oh, what did you do? That's what I'd love to add that salad to our regular meal menu. If somebody does bring treats too, put them out while you're having the celebration. If others want to enjoy them, let them enjoy them. And then the same thing, send them, just like Renee said, send it off with whoever is out going out the door. Or now you might have to do some homework depending on where you live. I live in a city about 65,000 people. We have the Salvation Army. We have the Men's Mustard Seed. We have the Medicine Hat Care Society. We have the Women's Shelter. We have St. Vincent de Paul. I could keep on going. There are plenty of places that can benefit from your extras. And you know what? How wonderful is that? Really, truly.
I love it. And on the note of mood, get out and do some volunteering and see the eyes light up of people that you delivered groceries to from your church or your local outreach, and that will fill you up. It will fill your mood up.
That will hit you in feelers that you didn't even know existed.
True. Absolutely. Giving is always better. All right, Dee, thank you so much. And everybody, we will see you next week. I will be posting this week's challenge. Please comment, let us know what's going on for you, post your workouts, post your food. Me and Dee can't be the only ones posting food, you guys. Send us your favorite recipes and really inspire the other people in this group to stay healthy for the holidays.
Absolutely.
Right. Take care, everybody, and have a fantastic rest of your Sunday.